uncovering the light. Guess with solid minds, no tales of the strange. In Sasquatch Secrets, they'll begin to rearrange. Truth the vibe, we're on a quest. Look beyond the trees, what do you see? Factual stories redefining history. No myths, no magic, let's break the mold. With every word spoken, the wonders unfold. Footprints in the snow, not just a myth. Data and research will sift through the pit. Tales of a creature, but science leads the way. Nikki's quest for knowledge, come join and fit.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon. Happy New Year, everybody. We made it through another year of Sasquatch and another great year to come, hopefully, with lots of new adventures and places to see and things to do. So happy everybody could be here. Henry May here as usual. Thank you so much for coming. Lazy Cowboys in the house. We got Jen. Happy birthday to you. Oh, we got to do Jen. The thing I have here. Where is it? I don't know. Here it is. Ready? There you go. That's for you, Jen. Happy birthday. Hope you had a great New Year's as well. And where was I? Let's see. Sandra Piper. Hi, Sandra. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you had a good Christmas with your family. And Project Crypt is in the house. Grant's in the house. Who else do we got out there? Scott Walker. Good to see you. And I know Danny came in and said, greetings from South Carolina. So glad to see everybody. I know the house is everybody's starting to fill in now. But again, we made it through another year, and I'm glad to be here today. It's been a very busy holiday season for me. And as you know, I had to, just take some time off to be with my family, to work. I've been working a lot. And, well, I guess we can start right there, actually, is that I've kind of dove into work so fully that I went from being part-time to full-time. Just trying to fill my time and my days. And I have one more year left before my husband comes home. It's unbelievable how the time has been flying by. And while doing that, I ended up getting a promotion. So I am now the boss. So I don't know how that will affect the show this coming year, because I will now be working Monday through Friday with weekends off. So hopefully things will be just fine the way they are. I don't know if I'll be able to produce a show every Sunday, but we'll see how it goes. I'd still like to, produce the show. I like today, I got some stuff going, and I did invite some people. But, it's still kind of the tail end of the holidays, so some people are still busy. So we'll see if anybody wants to jump in tonight and chit-chat about the year in review, which is going to be tonight. But yeah, so I've been 1 week already. They made me the offer on Christmas Eve. That was like a Christmas present, right? A big Christmas present. And I immediately accepted. I didn't really want to go from working 3 days, 4 days a week to 6 or 5 or 6 days a week. But I just felt like that unit really needed me, and I needed it, and it just happened at the right time, and hopefully everything will work out, and I can do right now I'm doing a lot of stuff because I'm doing my regular job and the supervisor's job together until I can find a replacement for me. So that'll be a little crazy for the next couple of weeks. But hopefully in the long run, even though I'm going to be working more hours, it's going to be less physical, because the job is quite physical, going up and down, to all the floors of the hospital and stuff. And now I can kind of primarily stay down in my office and in the kitchen area and telling people what to do. So now I can tell people what I need to be done, and they can do it. But I need staff. That's the biggest problem that we have, is we've lost a lot of people, mostly because they're younger, people, and they use this as a stepping stone to some other job. So they're moving on. So I need to find replacements. I need at least 3 new people at work. And it's hard. We got a girl in, and she made it one day and she quit. She said, I can't do it. It's too much. It's a hard job. But the first 2 or 3 weeks are just pretty intense, and you can feel overwhelmed by all the information that is thrown at you. But yeah, it takes a certain kind of person to do every job, right? You need certain people to be able to do any kind of job there is. And so I just have to keep trucking, and hopefully we can get some people in, and then I can really get down to being the boss and straightening some things out that weren't right. But thank you very much, Sandra. I appreciate it. And it's good. I have a big old desk now and a bunch of computers and, stuff that I'm trying to do. And hopefully everything works out, and I can really focus on that this next year and keep myself busy. And I need to we also have a new director that's coming in as well. So I have to immediately, because I had told my old director that I really wanted July, 2 weeks in July, a week in June off, or 2 weeks in July off, because of things coming up. And now I have to do that all over again. So hopefully he was all good with it, my other boss, but now he's gone. So yeah, it was a regime change at work, if you want to call it. Two supervisor and the director both are gone. So that's what's new with me, and that's why I was so busy, because I was really working a lot. And doubles are not my favorite thing. I'm telling you right now, I do not. I have to work a double tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'll be there from 5:30 in the morning till about 6 or 7 tomorrow night. Long days. But hopefully it'll all get better. And hopefully everybody else is doing well and had a good Christmas. And Santa brought you a lot of cool little toys. I got this cute little cup. Look at this cute little Bigfoot cup here. Little stainless steel mini coffee cup. He's so cute. It looks like a bark from a tree. It's so cute, but I got my chapstick and my lipstick in there now. And I got a really cool homemade box from my uncle, who sent it with my sister when she came. My dad and my sister did come, so I was able to see them. But it's this homemade jewelry box. But inside, they gave me a advent calendar, a Bigfoot advent calendar. And in there, it had a bunch of little Bigfoots. Every day had a little, look, this Bigfoot has a deer on its shoulder. This Bigfoot is a camping Bigfoot. This Bigfoot, oh yeah, he's like a Christmas Bigfoot piece hanging out. So, yeah, I have all my little Bigfoots in here. Look, here's a Halloween ghosty one, ghosty Bigfoot. So right now I've got all. This isn't sitting right because they're all like Bigfoot. It's all over the place. There we go. So that was really nice. And oh, this thing here. This is so cute. Wait till you see this. I gotta be careful for this. I have to be careful for this one. My daughter's got me a Lego Bigfoot. Look at him. Isn't he so cute? He's so cool. Lego Bigfoot. My daughter put it together. She tried like 3 times because you make one little mistake and it doesn't come out right. But he is so really cool. And I got him sitting up there on his box, but it's very precarious. He's very precarious. Okay, sit him right back there for now. And so let's talk Bigfoot. It is the year. Let me bring up my monologue and we will start this show and see if anybody joins us a little bit later. If not, that's okay. We'll just chit chat. And whoops, pushed the wrong one here. So as we step into 2026, tonight's episode isn't about chasing new encounters or breaking news. It's about reflection. 2025 was a big year for Sasquatch Secrets. We tackled through tough conversations, questioned long-held beliefs, and weren't afraid to sit uncomfortable in spaces within the Bigfoot community. From debates over evidence and bad science to discussion about the woo, personalities, narrative building, and the growing divide between belief and proof, this past year was less about answers and more about honesty. We explored what happens when stories replace data, when views replace verification, and when community fractures over photographs, footprints, and personal claims. We talked about winter behavior, disasters, albino sightings, sleep paralysis, public land conflicts, and the reality that Bigfoot research doesn't exist in a vacuum. It reflects human behavior just as much as it reflects the unknown. We also honored voices we've lost, questioned how modern research compares to the past, and asked a simple but powerful question over and over again. Are we seeking the truth or just protecting our own narrative? Tonight is about wrapping up that journey. What did we learn? What still needs to work? And where does Sasquatch research go from here as we enter the new year? So sit back. This is Sasquatch Secrets. And let's close out 2025 the same way we lived it. Curious, skeptical, and open-minded. So welcome everybody again to Sasquatch Secrets. Let me, you know what? I never did download the slides. Well, how do you like that? Let me do that real quick. It won't take me that long. All right. Oops. There we go. And it is processing. So that was good. Let me change this out. There we go. And here we are. Let's see. Let me move it like this. That works better. Yeah. All right. So year in review. We're going to talk about things we've already talked about. You know what in 2025 revealed about the state of Bigfoot community. And it was pretty much, there was a lot of things that went on that caused conflict. And we had a lot of opinions about certain things. But that recurring battle about or between science and belief, that was a really big part of this last year. And it threw us into a bunch of debates and disputes and a lot of evidence controversies, because that's where typically where shows like mine, that are evidence based, we're skeptical, but we really have that critical thinking behind us here. I have to put on the, I can see, there it goes. Couldn't see the chat there for a second. So what? New Year's resolution is to continue providing a product with many flaws. Have you not had luck with StreamYard? Is that what you're saying? I've had great luck with StreamYard. They've not disappointed me at all. As a matter of fact, this last year, they finally have upgraded so many things to StreamYard that I'm quite happy with now. I mean, before we weren't paying that much, but we weren't, getting as much as we are now. Now you've got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of little toys on here. Yes. To find Bigfoot. They're going to Venezuela just to find Bigfoot. Wow, he's probably down there too. I think there are some stories about the hairy man down there. So let's see. Where was I? So let me put this here. What themes keep repeating in the Bigfoot research? And they are themes, right? They're the same things we tend to talk about every week in some way or shape or form. Evidence versus belief. And there's some people who are staunch about it's not a belief. That it can't be in that realm because it's either real or it's not real. And science is what's going to prove that. So what happens? Has that gap widened to where we can't, see the other side? Have we closed our minds off to the other side of the hill? We always say the grass is greener. Is there no grass that's greener anymore? Those are kind of like some of the things that we tend to go for each side, their own side. You don't need belief. You just have to know this happened to somebody and that's the way it is. But when you're critically thinking about how something happens, there's no other way than to try to explain it than through science. And that's the part where we're lacking. We're only lacking because of how hard it is to find our target, right? Our target species. It's not like we can just go out there and immediately find a Bigfoot. There are individuals who say they can do that, but they have not proven they can do that. It just, you either going to take them for their word that, yeah, I see Bigfoot, every day when I go out or when I go to my special spot, they're always there and I gift them this or that. So do you believe, do you have that belief in them that they're telling you the truth? because they won't bring it to the regular public, So I think, did that gap widen? It widened for the fact that we will always have those two sides. You will always have a side that wants more, that wants that definitive proof that can be taken anywhere and not be a lie, not be a hoax. It can stand up to scrutiny because it has all these elements to prove it real. And yeah, we've already shown that something out there is making footprints, but we haven't gotten that one thing out of it, that one little DNA that some are saying, yeah, they do have the DNA, but we don't have anything to prove it against. We don't have anything to compare it to. And I'm kind of from that section there. I think we have to have something. We have to have that body to be able to compare something to. We can say, well, yeah, here's something. It doesn't compare to anything, but we don't know what. And that's unfortunate, but that's still what's happening, right? It's still what's happening, that it'll always be a mystery. And this mystery is getting harder and harder to come to fruition, to prove, because I'm kind of in the same boat that Brent is in, where, he's thinking that if this creature really exists, and I believe he did, or, he does still exist, but in very declining numbers. I think people may be seeing the same one in some areas, but as far as hundreds, thousands of these creatures being out there, with our technology, say in the last 5 years, I find it hard to believe we haven't discovered or brought it to fruition. That we haven't done that, haven't brought it to science yet. I mean, and I think a lot of people agree with that's hard to believe. And I know a lot of people in the chat have had their own experiences, and if you had your experience, then you're one of the lucky ones. Or if you consider yourself not lucky to see one, there are many out there who wish they had not seen them because it changed their lives. I can understand that. But if you're someone who did see something, and you become a knower because what you saw was a upright, hairy, walking bipedal primate in the woods, whatever you were doing, camping, fishing, hunting, whatever your circumstance, you experienced something and you saw something, then that makes you special, right? Because you're one in 1,000 people who have experienced that. And yet some will absolutely believe you, take your word as the truth, and that will be enough for you. That'll be enough, because you're not trying to prove anything. You've seen it. You don't have to prove anything. I think I would kind of fall there too. If I saw a Bigfoot, then I would be good enough with that. I don't think I would feel like I'd have to prove it to the whole world. And I know a lot of people kind of feel that way as well. So it would be nice, right, if some of these researchers who are boots on the ground every weekend, all the time, are pulling in even more data, more research to keep it alive, keep it going. I think it'll always probably keep going, because many of the people who do this, they just love being out in the forest, right? They love the whole idea of being out there in the wilderness and learning the biology and keeping up with, that type of I don't know, environmental stuff and the fun. I mean, who said it? You didn't have to have fun while you're out camping and exploring and hiking. That's all part of that. So, hey Tate, I forgot to send you I don't know, did I send an invite to you guys? I know I sent one to you, Jonathan. I sent you an invite if you wanted to drop in. But I don't know if I sent you one, Tate. Anyway, is science, the skepticism, and the community backlash, has all been, somebody just texted me. Oh, Jonathan. Jonathan said he might be on in a little bit. No rush there, buddy. Okay, let me get back over here. Oh, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I sent you an invite. Tate. Let me get that over to you. Where are you? It's because you're hiding. That's why I didn't send it before. I couldn't find your thing. Where is it? Seriously? Oh, because you're way up here now. There you go. All right. There. Now let's hope I sent him the right link. So, okay, so let's see. If we were to discuss further, what do you guys in the chat, what do you guys think was one of the most important Bigfoot topics discussed in 2025? And it doesn't have to be from my show. It can be from any show you saw this last year. What do you recall being something that made you go, wow, that was really good? That made me think further about how Bigfoot exists. Or hi, Robert. Is there anything out there that can, comes to mind about a show that you think, whether it be anybody's show? Just list it there in the chat so we can discuss it a little bit about, what's the most important Bigfoot topic that you think? Maybe what's the biggest Bigfoot topic that everybody talked about and nobody cares about? I don't know. It could be anything. What comes to mind when you think about this whole year of Bigfoot and what was covered? I covered a whole lot of material this last year, and I hope I made it interesting enough. I mean, I had enough people who wanted to watch it. And I agree. Tate says, if he's being honest, the coolest thing that came out of the Bigfoot world was Lazy Cowboy's Bluff Creek animation, which was amazing. I do. I think that was a really, really good one to bring up. He worked super hard on that and spent a lot of hours getting that done and working. I mean, from putting the hair on. I mean, I saw some of his early stuff and some of the issues he was having, and he shared with me some stuff, and it's amazing how it came around. So that was really neat to see all that develop, for sure. Um, I think Bigfoot not being found in 2025 was pretty cool. uh, that's Glenn, everybody. Bigfoot dwarf. So you're saying you don't want Bigfoot discovered. You want him to remain elusive forever so that you can hunt him forever or search for him forever. Let's not say hunt. Let's say search for him forever. Huh? That's good too. I mean, this is one of the greatest hobbies, right? I mean, I know it's more serious than that for a lot of individuals, but in a way, it's still, you put your time into it, you put your money into it, and you do have a goal. Your goal is to discover Bigfoot and bring it to the world. It is a main goal for everybody, both sides, right? Mostly. I mean, there are some on the woo side who just want to be one with one with Bigfoot, but I think they would still like to see it brought to life, really. Jen says, well, if you believe that the creature is almost extinct, maybe you can't rely on signs to do anything about it at this point. And people's sightings that you trust is all there's going to be. You're right. We're just you end up having to rely on encounter stories as a way of investigation, looking into things and asking them about behaviors and how did they act and what did you see and all of these things, which is the same as what we've been doing, right? I don't know. I think it seems like a decline in the number of sightings. Probably is remaining the same up in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know about Florida and the Skunk Ape, if they're having as many sightings there or not. Maybe somebody who's there, Tate, you can tell us that if you jump on. Are you having a lot of sightings in Florida? I did not look at the Bigfoot mapping project in the last month or two, so I really haven't. Let's see. Tate will be on in about 5 or 10 minutes. So, what? Oops! Ow. I was in the middle of fixing that, but she snagged before I did. It's still a good point. Yeah, I'm just saying. There's not enough of us looking, I guess. Maybe there's just not enough of us looking for Bigfoot. Or they're really, really good at avoiding us, and only the ones who are maybe younger, we're seeing them more than the older ones. I don't know. I mean, we don't have any solid answers to any of that at this time. Do we think that the community moved closer to the truth? Or are we at the same exact place we've always been? I always think, are we closer or further? Because we always talk about going further down the field, right? But are we just at a stalemate? Are we at the same exact place that we have been for the last 50 years? I don't know. What do you think, Henry? Do you think we're in the same place we've been in 50 years, or do you think maybe we've moved a little bit? Have a little more, I don't know, knowledge, or we have more things we talk about for sure, but we can't prove it. It's all, speculation at this point. They do this or they do that, or, do they migrate? Do they have family structures? Do they have more than one mate? Are there rogue Bigfoot? Do they act out? There's still so many questions that haven't been answered. We don't know. As Renee DeHinden said, I think we are just spinning our wheels. Nobody asks questions. Nobody asks for advice. That's really good, right? That's kind of like what I want to do, is keep asking questions. It's okay to ask questions about this. Nobody's going to have a definitive answer, but we can definitely talk about it. We can talk about, our feelings, or suggest what is happening with Bigfoot, because there are still some very real encounters that seem to be going on. I don't know if they're real, but the person it happens to, many of them feel it's real. And unfortunately, a lot of them are hoaxes as well. They want to have a little bit of limelight or feel important, or, whatever. And that happens. And Jen says, well, Jeff Meldrum's input gave us more information about how they move at a rate. So that's something. You're right. It is something to have a professional in the field, having Sarmiento in the field, and having, we had Meldrum in the field, and hopefully there's some more that are real scientists with degrees who can fill in those spots. And we'll see this coming year, if we have more Haskell Harts, and if we get more, what's the other guy's name? Oh my gosh. What's the other guy taking the DNA? What's the other guy taking all the DNA samples in North Carolina or wherever? Darby Orcutt. Thank you. I can never remember his name. It's not normal. Darby. I should think of the Irish. What, isn't there a Darby? Oh shoot. Darby. McGillicuddy? And the Little People? Is there a movie about that? Darby O'Gill and the Little People, or something like that? What am I thinking about? What a way to ring squirrel. Anyway, okay. So lessons learned. Let me just move to the next ones. My next one is the narrative problems. Okay. When stories replace data, and that's what's kind of happening, right? You can say anything you want, and depending on how it is said and brought out, either through online storytelling, YouTube storytelling, or whatever, you can get a lot of people who are going to believe anything you say about that. And now we're going to have this issue with AI, and you can tell it what you want it to do and say, and how to make it feel, and how you want it written. sincere or scared or however, and it's going to write you a story about Bigfoot, about a Bigfoot encounter. And it's going to be, Jen says, I just think Arby's. Now, maybe that'll help me. It's going to be, you know, kind of a little crazy about that stuff, but that's how what happens is who's to say? You can't really disprove somebody's encounter story, really. You can investigate as far as going to the area, and if it happened immediately, that's the best thing to do, of course. Yeah, AI will write your books. It will do that now. You can write a chapter a day for free on ChatGPT. Sometimes when doing a show and I help it, help me organize some of my stuff, you can use it like 5 times for free, and then it'll stop and ask you to upgrade and pay. And I'm like, heck no, I'll do the rest. It's easier, right? I feel like AI is gonna really dumb down society a little bit. But let me see. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. I was gonna do this. Hey Tate,
What's up?
what's up with you? How's Happy New Year?
Oh, same old, honestly. Nothing really changed.
Yeah. Did you work right through?
I haven't been able to work for a week or more because my work truck's like broken down because of the brakes. So
Oh
I've
gosh.
been broke.
Broke truck, broke pocketbook.
Yeah, broke back, not mountain.
That would be bad. Yeah, no. Yeah, Henry, you're right. Henry says that Todd Dissatel is a good one to send DNA to, even though he's found nothing that comparable to anything unknown. But he's made it a couple of or has said a couple of times not to send him poop anymore. He doesn't want to any more poop.
That's pretty funny.
Jen says, hey, I saw 3 things above the apartment complex about 5 weeks ago. Don't have any pictures. And if you believe my description, you do. And if you don't, you don't. Right. That's just how it goes, Stories are stories, and you take it with a grain of salt. But is it replacing data? Do we make it a spot in our research? Yes or no? What do you think? Let's see. And then we have the personality-driven research. And we've, had that here very recently in regards to what's his name? The one Brent was dealing with
Gatewood.
Yeah. Well, not just that too. That also, but what's his name? Oh my god.
Wait, another guy?
Randy. The stuff with Randy Harrington and guy. It's personalities. There's a lot of conflict about how people deal with the whole Bigfoot and areas, sharing areas, and who owns the woods, and nobody owns them. You just kind of, everybody is entitled to walk on the same lands if they're, national forests and you're able to do that, and there is private lands out there. There are um, BML lands that you have
I,
to get permission to go on.
I will say, like, are you talking about like you can't stop people from going and hoaxing, or if they're like being associated with them? I guess is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just a whole conversation about the narrative, and um, kind of a recap of what we've talked about all year. And one of those important ones is how personality, has driven some researchers to, they impede on other people's areas. They um, steal research, they steal pictures, they claim things as their own. And I don't really feel like there's any need to do any of that. I think,
No.
I think there's enough stuff out there to do in regards to the field and doing field work that there'd
But
be
I
no
mean,
reason to do that.
I get like why. Even myself, I mean, I don't want to invite anybody to Bluff Creek when we go out there because I don't want them to feel like I'm okay with them doing what they do if that person is shady. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, I can't stop them from coming. But what I can do is not associate with that person because
Yeah.
I didn't invite them, or I didn't invite them. And if they come up to me and try to impede on my time out there, like, hey, it's kind of like just camping etiquette. You don't do that, regardless if it's people into Bigfoot or not, and you're in the same group. But
Yeah. And it happens. It's gonna happen, but it's just how you are gonna deal with those. I don't know if you want to call them relationships with other Bigfooters. When you're out there and having that whole, like you said, etiquette, or I don't
I mean,
know,
just like camping etiquette in general, you don't really bother other people at their camp.
Right.
Even if like them. Um, I think that's very important. Just a general rule of thumb. But and even if you're Bigfooters, like even if I was in Bluff Creek and then somebody who knew me and I knew who they were, but I never invited them. I didn't invite them to be with me on my trip out there. And if they happen to show up and then start kind of, I get like forcing their way into the group,
Yeah.
that's not cool. But I can't stop them from going there and doing their own research if they want.
Yeah. Yeah. It's open, it's there for whoever. Do you think that the community moved closer to any type of truth or further away?
I think it's been stagnant. My
Yeah.
personal opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always new evidence coming out, like new footprints from here and there. But really, it's really cool that stuff is coming out. That means the whole idea of Bigfoot being real is not dead because there's physical evidence coming out. But it still hasn't gotten us any closer to the truth than it was 10 years ago finding tracks. It hasn't gotten closer to the truth. So
Yeah.
I think we're kind of at the stagnant point, but I'm hopefully eventually we'll start moving forward again somewhere down the line with it.
I think some people are on a good track, I think they have pretty good system and they're getting out there a lot and they're keeping track of what they're doing. And I mean, you have people like Jonathan who are really out there and I feel doing real research. And then you have, maybe people like me who are more wanting my own experience and just needing time out there to ground myself and to have fun and to enjoy myself while I'm out there and not really do all that other hard work. but I'd like to bring people with me when I do that. And I think a lot of people enjoy that part of it, the fun part and not the completely so serious part.
Right.
Um,
I was
but
listening to what you were saying earlier about like being too serious. I think with any profession, um, the saying is like you can take what you do seriously, but don't take yourself seriously.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh, you think social media helped or harmed Bigfoot research?
I think both, honestly.
Because it definitely had some people take off, some people really using it to their advantage for sure.
I think it's helped kind of get awareness out there and get more people interested in it, but it's also done harm because now it's more focused on people than the actual subject. And even myself,
Yeah.
I had to kind of remind myself why I got into Bigfooting, not just because I want to make videos. And so even that's hard, but
It's a lot of work. When you come home and you have files and files of data, meaning, video clips and audio clips and all these things, and you're trying to organize them and put them into a small little video, it's a lot of work. And I know from the first time, from our first meeting up at Mount St. Helens, and I came home, I was very overwhelmed by how much material I had to sort through, and such, that I really had to put it into like, okay, I'll do a video in this, a video in this, a video in this, and structure myself, because I didn't, in the beginning, I had intentions. Well, Bren and I had the intention of making a long form documentary type video, but once we came back and looked at footage, it wasn't worthy. To me, it wasn't worthy of that. And we ended up doing our own things. So, you kind of become your own critic and your own, okay, that's not going to work. This might
right.
be good for than that. But if you really want to have a good product, you really need to hold the camera still, for Christ's sake. You have to put some time into how you're filming. And I'm like, I have oodles and oodles of videos, okay, of when I go out, and I can't use it because I'm not good at filmmaking. I'm not good at holding the camera straight, or, hoping that I have to really work at it. And sometimes I'm good at it, and sometimes I suck at it.
Right.
So
It can be challenging sometimes, especially when I don't think it's really hard to want to film when you're out there because you get you kind of get deflated, if you're researching and you have nothing to show for it. You're getting skunked every night, and you're like, "Well, I still got to film, but I'm kind of
yeah,
apathetic because nothing's happening." And so, but
it tends to be the same stuff all the time. The videos start looking the same, you know.
yeah,
The things you talk about tend to be the same things you talk about over and over. And I realize that now, that I don't think they want to see this again. I just did this, and there's nothing new to produce. So,
it's funny because there's so many documentaries, and every like independent documentary that's in the field of Bigfoot research, it's always the same. But what's different is the editing. That's all it is. It's just the editing and the people in it. The result is
yeah,
still the same. It's if they do field research, they're gonna get skunked.
yeah,
Um, or it's just a bunch of interviews. But and so, but what I'm saying, that's the filmmaking aspect of it. But what's cool about it is like the legitimate people who make videos on YouTube for the subject. You do
hmm
learn a lot, and it's straightforward knowledge of what you're learning, and they're not really going to lie to you. for the people who take the subject actually serious, and we know like the select few people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let's see what Robert has to say. Robert says, I'm still a few minutes behind, but I think there needs to be more cooperation between different research groups. I would love to see Tate do research when he goes to Alabama.
Alabama's on my bucket list. I have really close family friends that live up there, so they live in Birmingham, and I was like kind of looking around Birmingham and stuff, and there's some
Uh-huh.
cool looking areas I want to hit up. I mean, even that there's some stretches to the south I want to check out for sure.
Oh, yeah. Let me move this over. Hello. Hello.
Well,
Hello.
hello there. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. What's up, Tate?
What's up?
I don't know.
So Squatch and Holly, that's Roger, right? We're talking about Roger. Oh my gosh, what's his last name? I don't remember his last name now. He's a nice guy. I've talked
Oh,
to
yeah. I have it here somewhere.
And then Jen says, if you're out there, yes, audio and video, but if you're worried about what you're getting as far as making it into content, then you're not doing any favors to anybody or yourself. Right. Right. You're right. If I'm worried about that, it's because I am worried worrying about getting content. And that's what I was doing because I know I'm not a researcher like Brent or Jonathan or Tate. Somebody who wants to go out there and have fun and video and hopefully have an encounter of my own so I can stop. Probably.
I kind of look at like I look at my videos as like the way I like to edit is I like to edit in order as like what happened in the trip, because I know like on some video shoots people will edit the most exciting stuff for the last bit of the video.
Yeah.
Instead of saving it, like say they were out there day one and they had stuff, but they were out there for a week and they save like the last thing that happened on day one for the very end of the video. I like editing mine as like it happened. So day one will be day one in the video, and even if something happens on day one, I'm going to keep it in the beginning because I want to just show like, hey, this can happen. It's not always we're out here and then something happens. It's kind of misleading in that way, in my opinion.
Right. I like the chronological type stuff too. It makes more sense when you're working it and easier. Mud Fossil University, Roger? No, sorry. That's Hive Science out there asking. Roger, God, his last name's
Williams.
does Williams, yes, Roger Williams from Squatch and Holler. Anyway, woo equals views. I put that in there because the other side. Yeah, the other side is it. They like to hear that. They like to assume everything is related to one another. Oh, there's a Bigfoot and there's UFO, there's Bigfoot there. It dropped it off, or it did this, or it's that.
I will say I kind of want to maybe make my own video on it, but like a short one. The only woo experience I've ever had while Bigfooting was actually with Stacy Brown, and I did like a whole Florida run with Alex and Eli for STM for Beyond the Trail. So we did like every spot in Florida, and in Everglades we had action. We had a wood knock, and then up at Stacy's research area, me, Ryan Golombesky, RPG, and a guy named James Grost. We had 2 wood knocks, clear as day, on different sides of the road, or on sorry, I can't talk right now. We had 2 different wood knocks, one coming from each side of the road. And so that was pretty crazy. And then later, James and we saw an orb. And Stacy was like, "Oh yeah, I've been getting knocks and then getting and seeing lights out here, man." So I just kind of been opening my mind up a little bit more and stuff. So that was the only woo thing that's happened to me, was seeing an orb after Bigfoot activity. I've never experienced that before.
What color was it, Tate? And can you explain it in more detail? What led up to it and what you actually saw and how it moved?
So yeah, what we went to a spot that Stacy recommended. And so we had 2 different teams. Actually, we had 3 different teams. No, sorry, 4. I forgot how many people were out there. We had a team stay back way down the road in their car. And then myself, Alex, Eli, Stacy, RPG, James Bros, and I'm forgetting the other gentleman's name. We drove up in 2 different cars and we parked further down this dirt road. And so we had Stacy, Alex, and Eli walk ahead of us 5 minutes on the road with their lights on, and then RPG, James, and I walked behind them with lights off. And that's when RPG and I got the wood knocks, and James, and it stopped us in our tracks. Then we were like, should we knock back? But we decided not to, and we started walking a minute later, and then another knock off to our right. What kicks me, I kick myself to this day because we did not get audio recording of that.
No.
But we met up with the group that went 5 minutes ahead of us, and then we reversed the roles. So it was still me, James, and RPG, but we had lights on and they followed with lights off.
Okay.
So we get back. Oh, Marty was the guy who was at the other car. So we get back to the car where Marty was waiting, and we're waiting for Alex and Eli and Stacy to come. And so we kind of just turn our lights off, hanging around, talking. And then James and I are kind of behind one of the cars talking. And as we're talking, all of a sudden we see like this big ball of light, like bigger than a softball, slightly bigger than a softball size.
How far away did you think that it was? Be it you're saying it's around the softball size. You think it was 50 yards, 100 yards, quarter mile?
No, it was like 3 feet.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Oh,
Really?
dang.
It was because it was like a dirt road, and then the tree line was right there.
All right.
So okay, maybe like 5 to 3 feet, give or take. That's the range it was, because we saw it appear, and then it was kind of like darting between the trees, but it was like still really close to us, and it was like going up and down and like left and zigzagging, and it was really weird. And I think we saw it for about 3 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds.
Okay.
And it wasn't above the tree line. It wasn't like below or close to like the ground. It was kind of in like that middle.
Mm-hmm.
It was like at least 5 or 6 feet off the ground. And so I was recording audio then just in case we got maybe more wood knocks. But in the audio, you can hear James and I like simultaneously like, whoa, what was that? So yeah, and the color was like very, very bright blue with like like a fluorescent blue kind of see-through halo around it.
That's interesting. I had a quick clip from Washington State that involves a very bright blue, fluorescent blue, you could say, actually very tiny. I feel it most likely was very tiny, not like a softball size, and probably guessing where the tree cover was, it was probably maybe 15-20 feet in front of me. On the other side of my fire, I was on one side of the fire. This object would have been on the opposite side of the fire, just a little off to my left and about 10-15 feet in the air. And the way it shows up is it just into the darkness of the frame in the video. It just drops in, goes right back out. But very, very blue. And I looked into that in Eyes in the Woods had done some research, and she sent me some information about a oh god, a blue oh shit, blue fox firefly. Oh doggone it. Fire something about it's a firefly, or that it could have been a firefly. And then I did some research on that, and they aren't supposed to be over there in the in Washington State. They're more prominent on the southeast
Mm-hmm.
of the continent over here. So interesting that you mentioned that it was blue in color.
Yeah, I mean, and I know like fire. I've seen a couple fireflies down here, but maybe like I could probably count how many fireflies I've seen in Florida over the past 4 years, and about like four.
Yeah,
Four.
thanks. Blue ghost firefly. That's what it was. Yep. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah.
No, you're good. It was really interesting because I was listening to Cliff and Bobo's podcast, like maybe
What's up,
like
cowboy?
a month or a couple months later, or maybe a year later. I can't remember how long it's been, but Matt Moneymaker was on Cliff and Bobo's show, and they were talking about orbs. And Matt said something very interesting that I thought of. Depending on like where you're at, like the tectonic plates beneath the Earth, certain places have higher energy, I guess. Like, so they can let out these balls of light as like almost like a discharge in the air from all that
static electricity.
Yeah, so I didn't know maybe if that's what it was too. I'm just kind of being optimistic because I'm not a woo. Like I'm more on the flesh and blood side of Bigfoot believing. I'm not very woo. I mean, that was very weird to see. So I don't know. And when I heard what Matt said, it made a lot of sense. But I don't know what Florida is like as far as that.
Yeah, well, I think you're correct to, not apply strange situations to one particular animal in the woods, even this one that is claimed to, not exist by some and is unclassified. There are millions of living things out in the woods, and for something strange to happen, and us to apply it to Bigfoot is, 1 in a million.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Bigfoot. Why not say it could have been a, ghostly bear, or like you say, friction from tectonic plates, or it could be some sort of bioluminescent fungi built up on a ball of mating mosquitoes, for crying out loud. I mean,
that is crazy. We saw some of that bioluminescent stuff, Jen, over
on a
in
mosquito.
I'm not saying there is such a thing.
What do you call it? Oh my god, my brain is not working.
Fungus.
Yep, on
mushrooms.
the tree.
I just realized this conversation leads very well.
Moss on the trees, and the lichen. Thank you. It was lichen that was on trees, and it illuminated, but not like really bright. You could just with your bare eyes see how it kind of glowed in the night. Yeah, but it did not capture on film at all.
Right on.
It does. Have you guys ever seen like the red tide at night, like on a beach?
I've seen it on video, and
it looks like the Northern Lights, but in the water. It's
crazy.
It's when I lived in Mexico, we would see it all the time because it would happen like all the time, and it was like really cool. It was like glowing. It was so cool.
I've seen videos with dolphins like swimming and jumping through the waves, and the waves coming down, and it just it looks like the movie Avatar.
That's so cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I didn't get to see dolphins jumping through it, but that would have been really cool.
Yeah, it's something else. There's a lot of wondrous things in the world.
There is. There absolutely is.
But I kind of, it's funny when you think, okay, what could that have been? It's not. I try to go and rule out what it might have been. Like the Knox could have been people there doing that, but we didn't see anybody when we got there. I don't know what made the ball of light, but it's kind of important to kind of learn what you can and rule out. Like Occam's razor, I guess, is the best way to describe what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's we don't need to be afraid of including it in our research on one specific animal. I mean, it's well worth noting down because I think everybody here can agree that this wouldn't be the first instance that
Yes.
a expedition looking for Bigfoot evidence has, recorded orbs, and they've been recorded with other notable, call them questionable sounds and sights that are associated with Bigfoot, like hearing knocks and or having a possible sighting and then seeing an orb. Um, Having that be repeatable makes it more interesting. If you're out hunting deer and you don't ever see an orb when you're seeing deer, but you see orbs when you are hearing knocks or have a sighting, and then right after see an orb, it makes it more interesting and more worthy of continuing to research it.
Yeah, I'm not delving into the woo, but like I'd be open to something happened again because I want to see if it's more just a coincidence or what, And
Physical, something
yeah,
science.
because so
Yeah.
far, like that was the only time I don't know how many times I've had experiences that I saw something like that happen. You can call it paranormal, woo, whatever, but that was the only time. But I've heard like knocks before, and I've heard them do whoops. Possibly have recorded one on a thermal, and
Mhm.
so I can't say off one time if it's
Right.
related or not. I have to have more.
Yep.
I mean, that
more
would be
go on.
something interesting to look into in itself, is the actual orb data, if it exists. Is somebody keeping track of orb sightings or encounters? I don't know. But are they happening in areas that say are more prone to battle zones, battle areas, say in the East Coast, where you have a lot of dying that happened during the Civil War and other wars, and we know that there is intense kind of I don't know, they see full-bodied apparitions in some of these areas consistently, in Gettysburg and all of these places. And does that have any linkage to orbs? Could we just be in a forest where back, in the, I don't know, 20s and 30s, there were many, many cemeteries out there in the woods that have long since been covered over, with the forest? And are we experiencing, something out of body type of thing with orbs? Could that be it? We're out there looking for Bigfoot, but we're really running into something completely paranormal in regards to, the dead.
And that's where you need like a simple piece of, well, I mean, you can obviously do it with tech way easier, but a simple piece of graph paper. And down one side, you could list off all your known animals in the area and then include Sasquatch. And then across the top, you could list off all these anomalies that happen: orbs, knocks, vocals, the different types of vocals, so on and so forth. And whether you have that occurrence or you're watching a podcast and somebody mentions an occurrence on your own, you can just go back to your sheet and say, okay, this person saw an orb. And in his conversation, these are the other items that were associated with that time. Check off those boxes. and then
Yeah.
continue. When you fill up that page, go to the next page. And then after a period of time, you start overlaying that, or get a hold of somebody who knows how to put that on a spreadsheet or something to spit out the actual stats. You could come up with some numbers over the period of 5 years and say, over the last 5 years, everybody, including myself, that experienced an orb, 28% of the time it was associated with a knock. 1% of the time it was associated with a sighting of a Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
This amount of percent of times it was above, what was the temperature? What was the weather like? What was the solar weather like? What is the geography in the area? If you could get an area, is it on a fault line? I mean, that's a lot of crunching numbers, but
That
that's,
is a lot.
I mean,
You
that's,
know, that's crazy because, like, when you say like the weather, I know it was that time we saw the orb. It was really cold that year. Like, I think in Ocala it got in the 20s, or maybe like 15 degrees. It was cold. So I don't know. It was really cold that night.
That's when all the lizards were falling out of the trees.
Yeah.
geckos.
Out for the
I've
falling iguanas.
I've seen it happen before. It's actually kind of sad but funny at the same time.
Well, you're down in Florida, right, Tate?
Yeah, I'm like in South Florida.
Okay, yeah. My mom had a house down in Florida. No, they have another one now down there, but she was petrified of them geckos when she moved from the Carolinas down, or Virginia down there. And she told me of the story. I mean, they had put these sticky sheets of like tape paper to catch these geckos on her back porch. She said she was petrified of these things and had no pity for them whatsoever. And my mom's a Southern Baptist, got a Bible in one hand everywhere she goes, and so killing something is a little out there for my mom. And my mom just said, I'm going to tell you, like, I have no mercy for these. I'm so sorry, Lord. But he goes, I'd smash them with a rock. They scare me so bad. Well, a cold front came through, and that's what she said. I mean, they were just literally fell out of the trees, and they were dying all over the place because they got a big chill came down through and knocked them off.
Your mom's hatred for those things is the same. It matches my hatred for possums. I hate possums so much.
They're ugly little bastards.
I'll take my chances with the mosquitoes because they're not eating enough for it to be worth it.
Oh man.
They're like, but Tate, they're super clean and they eat. I don't care. They're so gross. They're so gross. I will get in a car wreck to avoid hitting a possum. I don't want it touching my car.
They get a lot bigger than I thought. I didn't realize how big some of those suckers can get.
Oh, because you know how my sanctuary is in my hot tub, right? It's my office. So it's a beautiful little quaint area. And there's this fence. And every so often I see one of those possums walking across, ruining my evening.
Oh, Lordy.
I swear, man.
So, Jonathan, a question for you. Do you think we've made progress or just more noise?
Yeah. I feel good. I feel real positive about this year. And not just this year. And I've spoke about this in the past. The verbiage people are using and the things that they're seeking in the ways of research are enthusiastic. I mean, a lot of people aren't just winging it. They're picking up things and learning things from scientific methodology. Our technology and our technology and academic research has come quite a ways. I mean, we're looking into DNA and primate theory. It's triggered researchers to explore the relic hominid theory. Tons of people are talking about that, and they know about Nocholopithecus and Australopithecines, and all the hominids are learning and about the hominid history. Um, People are learning about DNA, eDNA, the collection of, starting to learn how to use the notebook and record what's
Mhm.
going on while they're out there researching. And I think a little bit of sharing is starting to happen. New ideas are blossoming all over the place. Most likely tons of it that, I've never even seen. So, although there's still the hoaxing, there's still the quarrels, that's just human nature. Um, I think technology is going to catch up with Sasquatch if they're still here by the time we finally bring a body in. But I think overall in 2025, I think we've made some progress. And 2025 was a big year in many ways, and some not so, uh, enjoyable, with the loss of Dr. Jeff Meldrum,
Mhm.
um, the loss of Scott Violet. God rest their souls. And there's just recently there was also, oh, Tate, help me out there. He's out your way.
Steven Strufert.
Yes, sir. So, I think that brought a lot of people together when otherwise they may not see eye to eye, and
Mhm.
maybe some of the bad times made everybody realize that, we don't have eternity to do this, and we need to put aside our differences, work together, share information, and and work for the greater good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely some topics that have driven stakes, between certain groups. Do you think what do you think caused the most division this year? You think there's one thing that caused
AI.
more? Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
think
definitely a
across
huge topic.
across the board, AI is a very important one because it's getting better. I mean, even from a year ago, it's getting better now. Now videos are coming out, people are using them consistently. And now you have people using those videos saying, look, this was a trail cam, blah, blah. Oh my God. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
They're using these
Yeah.
AI videos to spur on conversations that's real, that this is really it. And it's kind of ridiculous, actually.
I'm just, to be honest, I have my popcorn ready for when Todd Standing comes out with his new AI video.
Oh, yeah. Well, it already has. I sent it to you. Have you seen the one where now the AI shows one of his Leatherface, or I don't know which one it was, standing up?
Getting
Yeah.
up and moving, that
I
short.
saw that.
I'm like, if it's already out, it's already, people are using the AI to make still frames and videos have movement. It's amazing. They look crazy, but they're not real, and it's pretty soon we're not going to be able to tell the real from the fake. It's going to get that good. I think it's going to
There's a
get
lot
that
of other channels that aren't even Bigfoot associated with Bigfoot, that are ranting and raving about people stealing their content and using AI generated material to just regurgitate what that
Mhm.
person had said, just mix up the words a little bit different, and they're
Right.
getting thousands of views, and they're building these huge channels, and all they're doing is taking somebody's video that did all the freaking work and
Yeah.
for the receipts and put together a good report, an investigative report, put it out there, and then somebody steals it, mixes it up a little bit, put some AI reporter on there and regurgitates what that guy said, and
Yeah.
just it's stealing everybody's work.
It is.
Now it's
It,
a world we live in. We're gonna have to learn how to deal with it.
well, we knew that was even happening because we had a show this last year about how AI, how artists are trying to file lawsuits against the AI big companies for stealing their art,
Yep.
because you
Yep.
ask it to create something and then it takes from what it's already seen on the internet
Yes.
and creates work. And their whole mission is to get a way for them to secure their work as their own and have copyright on that material
Mhm.
so that AI cannot use known artists' work. That something needs to be tagged on there for the image or something.
Mhm.
And it's a big deal because it's going to put a lot of artists out of work, and it's going to be, I mean, right now, any one of us can go and make a whole song about whatever you want, and it can be published and you can use it immediately. Songwriters are going to be losing jobs, and many other jobs are going to be taken away by the whole process of AI. So it's kind of
My
sad.
daughter, Sierra, she had developed this website called the Mommy Blogger, and she did this way back when she just got out of college. It's part of what she went to college um, for artistic
Mhm.
art and stuff is what she went to school for. But either way, she makes this Mommy Blogger, and she started really early, and she was doing so well before AI came out, to the
Mhm.
point where just a couple years ago, she was talking about that she was ready to buy a home. And
Wow.
when AI come out, at first she was excited. My son Dylan was like, yeah, you should download this Chat GPT, and oh wow, that looks like it's going to be great. And within 6 to 8 months, she started watching her revenue just dive bombing. I just
Mhm.
talked to her during Christmas, and she said from last year she's down $60,000.
Wow.
$60,000 in revenue. That because what in one of the things that she does is she'll have a birthday party for one of my granddaughters, and she'll do all of this decorating, and she'll get all of these things so the birthday party just looks absolutely
Mhm.
beautiful. It has a theme, and each one of these items, they can be purchased, and she has them on her Mommy Blogger, and then
Mhm.
people see that and they're like, oh my god, I want to do that for my kid. Well, you can purchase it, just go to the link on her and she gets a cut.
Mhm.
Well,
Right.
AI has totally stomped that into the dirt, and she's scared. I mean, she's in big
Wow.
trouble right now trying to figure out how to work through this. It just screwed the algorithms up, is what she says. It screwed the algorithms up. So
Wow. Yeah, it's unfortunate that has happened. Um, was there a moment when belief clearly outweighed the evidence for you this year?
belief outweighed the evidence. I have a couple of items that I'm not at liberty to discuss that had made me really excited and got me a little out of my wheelhouse, but I've grounded myself now again and realized that until it's proven, There's still in the same spot. So I don't know. For a little bit, did I believe that maybe Sasquatch was for 100% real because something happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started going there. So just a little. But other than that, outside of that, nothing I can think of. Tate?
Tate?
You think it was just like something that happened this year for us?
This year, I could say any time up until this point.
Only 2 events come to mind. Well, 3. My thermal video, and then in Bluff Creek in 2021 with that rock slide incident with Alex and Eli and I.
Uh-huh.
And then we had something thrown at us at me and Alex in Laird Meadow, and we heard knocks. So those 3 different events have really persuaded me that Bigfoot is more than just a legend. It's more than likely real. I'm 99%, 99.9 on the scale of believing.
I have one to add.
What's that?
Because I half the time I can't remember anything that happened in the past, but I will say I just thought so. My good friends, Bill and Deb, part of a group a couple years ago, and I'm quickly trying to think. Yes, he has shared this with the public a while back ago, but there's been more work done on this. And as far as in the tight-knit group, when I watched that video, and now that I've seen and walked in the area where this thing came through, and it is of my opinion that if it was a human being, it was well over 7.5, 8 feet tall. Still working on it. So in this one particular area, it's pretty exciting that we're going to revisit this area again. And that I remember that got me pretty excited. I mean, it's hard to deny when you can see 2 legs moving in an arm swing, and when you know where this was and what time it was and how it was filmed, it's like, all right, there wasn't some great big enormous dude right over there walking up that grade. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I'm one to really like tangible stuff, so that's pretty tangible. Hard to explain away. Just, boy, if there was just a little more leaf cover out of the way, I tell you, that would have been something else. It's still something else in my book, but yeah.
Right. Well, you were there. You experienced it firsthand.
Well, no, I wasn't there when it was filmed. I was there the following year, so I was able to see the
where it was.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt about going to Jay Birch's area up there on Mount St. Helens, is that the way he explained, some things I was really confused about. But now that I was been there and seen the lay of the land and how things dipped down and how there's a creek running through there, and now things make a lot more sense about how it could not be seen, because I'm like, how could you not see it there? But it's so thick, the area around that area was so thick, and I'm like, well, now you cannot see. It's like a wall surrounding this little campground. And then, nothing all week. We had a great week, and that last night something came in the freaking, campground. And I wasn't alone. I didn't experience alone. Jen experienced all this too. So that, I have that same type of experience, that same thing that says that was weird. That is something not normal. It was not. That was not a deer. In my opinion, it was not a bear.
Right.
it didn't have characteristics it should have had to
Yeah.
be those things. And
You can't
unfortunately,
help
you react the way
excited
you
about
react. You know, I was frozen solid. I couldn't move. So,
People always like, oh, I know what I'm going to do if I ever see one. Do this and
right.
that.
Yeah. And we were real brave. Jen and I were out there in the dark. We were walking around. We were doing what we, what you do. But I don't know. That last night, it was something I'd never experienced in my life. And I don't know if I'll ever experience again. But it makes me sad to think that, even Jen's probably still in the chat, but even had Brent and Thomas been there still, where they situated their camp was just down a little ways the road. I don't think they ever would have seen or known, anything happen anyway. So because for a year, all I could think was, why were Brent and Thomas not there? Why did they leave? And then all of a sudden something happened. Why were all the trail cams down? Why did we not have, this or that? Or
I'm like a what ifs. What if this happened? What if that happened? That happened to me in Iowa, and I hate those. Like, I really hate those moments when you're out there and you're recording and you have audio going. Like, oh, maybe I might change the battery or just stop the recording for when I go to bed. Because like nothing's gonna happen, and it's like when you turn that off, that's the thing. Because that happened to me in Iowa. Like, Jeremiah and I were out there, and I was like filming. I was like, I'm just gonna turn it off. We had no audio recording. Moments later, a tree was either pushed or it fell down. One of the two. Yeah. And later, we were like, okay, let's turn the audio recorders on, and we got wood knocks.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there it goes to show.
Man, that was my first tree fall too, there at Mount St. Helens. I'd never experienced that before, and it was so loud and scary. And
it's probably my favorite potential Bigfoot activity I could probably want to have. I've had it happen 3 times to me now. One in Florida with Alex near the Everglades, Iowa. And then I heard it in Washington at Bumping Lake, and I actually got that recorded.
Nice.
Wow.
Were they Bigfoot? I don't know, but it's happened every time I've been Bigfooting, at least the last 3 times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let me see. I think I still have. I thought I had the tree knock. Did I take it out finally? I had the tree thing on here forever, but I think I finally took it out. Yeah, I think I did.
Nikki, do you know about that? You've been to Bumping Lake, right? A few times?
No, I haven't been there. I've wanted to go there too. That's been on my list. But every time I hear about it, it's like inundated with people. And they're always cat stuff, but I think there's too many people there.
Well, because I have plans to go there this July. I need to talk to Brent and Tristan still, but this last summer when I was up there, I went up to Granite Lake. So Tristan will probably know what I'm talking about. Granite Lake, it's like Paul Graves was like, oh yeah, you can get up there, but you just need a big lifted vehicle. And so I was like, okay, I have the Jeep. This is going to be my first time back up to Bumping Lake with the Jeep. So I'm going to go to this lake. And oh my God, it was like Paul not kidding. That road there was boulders half the size of my wheel just sticking out of the ground. But long story short, I was able to get up there, and it's a beautiful area. If anybody's up there, they're either taking a dirt bike or UTV. or a lifted vehicle. So that has it going for it. It's kind of hard to access. So I think in next year I'm going to return, or this year I should say, I'm going to return up there and camp up there a few nights.
Yeah, you want to go in July, but your thing is in July, right at Bluff Creek. Your next.
So I do, because I'm heading Southern California and going north. So it'll be like California, Oregon, and then Washington.
Because I really want to try to go this year for sure. And I mean, now that I've got this supervisor position, I need to talk to the new director and get my time off, because I need a week in June and 2 weeks in July that I'm trying to get.
Just walk in there, guns blazing. I need this time.
Well, I'm gonna tell him I was already told I could take it by the other by the other director, so that maybe I can get it to swoosh on to this new year.
That would be good.
It's kind of true, but it was just too early to put time in. They weren't accepting any times right now, but I want them to know. I know now the times I need and want, so I want to make that happen.
Yeah.
But I would love bumping.
Hey,
I'll let you know the dates for sure.
Yeah, I have found that.
What were you gonna say, Jonathan?
You all set, Nick?
Here's the tree fall.
Oh, what happened?
Here it comes.
It almost sounds like some sort of a vocal in the distance after that tree comes down. Does anybody else just hear that? Almost
Can you
like
play it?
I joined in or something.
Can you play it again? I didn't hear it.
I'll play it again, but hold on. The first one is not loud. I have it twice looped, but the first one wasn't turned up volume, so I just looped it.
Holy balls, that was cool.
Yeah, I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
echo.
After
Yeah.
that, I was just hearing shit.
That sounded huge.
Yeah,
It was scary. We had
I-
all just gone into our tents when that happened.
I
And
will
was
say
like,
I did. I forgot one incident. Ron and I heard a tree fall or something fall in the redwoods on Avenue of the Giants at like 1 a.m.
Jeez, those things are huge.
But what's funny is we weren't even Bigfooting. It's like when you're not doing anything Bigfoot related is when stuff happens. You're like, why did I miss that? And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Ron, I was like, you know what that reminds me of? And he's like, well, I was like, dude, the tree the thing we just heard reminds me of Robert Lardeman and Bart Catino's tree destruction video that they got in the redwoods.
Tree destruction video.
So Bart calls it the tree destruction video. Robert is, I guess, more being like really critical thinking on it. And so he calls it the tree failure video. But they were in the redwoods, and I can't remember the exact story, but they ended up they got a recording of the audio of the tree falling over, like getting destroyed, basically pushed over.
Okay.
It was actually an episode of Finding Bigfoot.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
well, it's definitely loud. And I remember Dakota and I were like, it was so loud last night, and it was right over there. And Jen's like, it was just a tree. It was just a tree.
Just a tree.
And next morning, she was the only one with sense to like calm us down, because we were all. I didn't sleep that whole night. I was freaked out. But it was just a tree. Yeah, I know it was a tree, but what knocked it over?
Sure.
Evidence all over the forest, right? You were walking, there was all kinds of down trees everywhere, and that stuff falls. So it, you can't really control.
Well, yeah, like that's like, I think hearing a tree is really cool, and it's obviously, as a researcher, that's potential activity with Bigfoot, but a tree falling does happen in the woods regardless if anybody is there or not. So
right.
to to say it's Bigfoot would be a foolish thing to say, but it's cool to speculate, hey, it might be this, but you want to be critical at the same time. Like, it also could be this.
Right
You
on.
know?
But but in order to continue the study, you read these books, and they speak of all these encounters. And in the encounters, they aren't really emphasizing, especially the older books, they aren't emphasizing certain things as their witness is explaining what they heard and how everything went down. But what you hear that becomes repeatable in a lot of these encounters is that when the subject, the target, was either coming at them or going away from them or standing out there, that there was breaking of trees, that there was the thrashing of trees. And when you watch gorillas, chimpanzees, and they get the dominant male gets all bent out of shape because somebody's getting out of order, and he starts running around thrashing the shit out of trees and scraping up the ground and getting tough. Well, if we're going to work within the box that is flesh and blood, and that it is a primate that is wild, there is a real good chance that if said Sasquatch is within your hearing parameter, that they may be getting nervous and maybe gonna shove a tree down to see if you take off. Just get out of here. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. So
No, I don't know. I don't think that at all. And the thing about this was, I was there a couple days, and so the first day I think was kind of windy, but it wasn't like crazy. Nothing happened. And then the second day is when I heard it. But I know there was people a little bit down the road. But the thing is, I didn't hear a chainsaw. I didn't hear any axe marks. You would hear that down there because that would carry. So maybe it was a tree that was just rotted out and ready to fall, or a bear could have pushed it over, which bears actually do that. Or it could have been a Bigfoot that did it. So there's one of three options.
Right.
And without actually seeing what did it, I can't put my hat on and be like, oh, it was definitely this.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you can find the tree,
if you can find, that would be kind of hard.
I found a couple.
Went looking for that tree and they couldn't find it.
It is hard to find them, but if you can find them and you can get to the stem of the base of the stem of the tree and study the fracture, not to say that a Sasquatch couldn't push over a half dead tree with tree rot on it. I'm not saying that couldn't happen,
right?
But by studying the tree, and you get a better idea of some of the other variables of how and why it may have gone down. Maybe a smaller tree toppled over, hit a bigger tree.
That's actually what Alex and I attempted to do in Florida when we heard the tree getting pushed over.
Yeah.
But we didn't go there that night because we didn't want to traipse around where there's cottonmouth and stuff. Right. And that's really thick brush. So we went back there the next day and we got back in there, but you can't really. We had an idea where the sound came from. But it was impossible to find the exact tree because there was like thousands of trees that were already like laying over and stuff. It's like, dude, we'd be here for all day and all night.
Yeah, that makes it tough. Hey, Nikki, check this out. So while you guys were talking, I punched in on the phone, looked up, said, what are some of the more notable things that happened in the Bigfoot community in 2025. So I'll just read just a couple of them. So it says notable sightings and investigations in Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Interstate 80 sighting in October 2025. A retired civil engineer and Air Force veteran reported a large dark figure crossing I-80 in Century County, Pennsylvania. This report was deemed very credible by the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization and drew national attention due to the witness's background and as an experienced hunter who explicitly stated the creature was not a bear. There's two more. Daylight sighting in Texas and Tennessee. Recent Class A reports from 2025 include a daylight encounter by a trucker in Smith County, Texas, and another by a mother and daughter on a railroad in Bradley County, Tennessee. Idaho statistical study, a 2025 analysis ranked Idaho as the 8th most likely place in North America to encounter a Sasquatch, noting a 2.1% probability of a sighting, statistically higher than winning many lottery jackpots. And then the only other thing I wanted to bring up was something I saw was interesting here. Where is that guy? Right here. This might be cool to look into. I never heard of this. Bigfooters study. Dr. Jamie Lewis of Cardiff University released findings from a 3-year study involving 150 interviews, exploring how the Bigfooter community was using state-of-the-art tech to contest mainstream scientific claims. And they give a link for it. That's Dr. Jamie Lewis of Cardiff University. That might be interesting to read.
Interesting. Yeah. That is definitely.
So, I mean, there's, I've never even heard of any of that.
It's funny. You said Sasquatch in Idaho. 2022, I was up there. Jonathan Easley just moved up there, and he was like, we're going to go check out a couple places. And I was like looking around spots. I was like, hey, let's just go to this. So we kind of picked one spot just randomly, kind of like looking at past reports and seeing what was there. And like, this looked like a good area. So we went there, and this kind of answers Tristan's question. I saw it, like the loudest wood knocks I've heard. This was one of 3, like, of the loudest wood knocks I heard. But we were sitting around the campfire, and then we stopped, clear as day. You hear like a wooden baseball bat and like a hollow tree type sound, just knock.
Solid.
It was just a random spot in Idaho that looked good, and we got a wood knock.
Wow.
And the other 2 that I heard that were the loudest was the Florida one. Those 2 I heard in Florida with RPG and James.
They're very interesting, and ain't nobody been able to tag the exact cause. It's still up for debate. Nate,
and like, how
do you mind if would you guys mind if I can make it out there? If I joined you guys out in Willow Creek this year?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
That would be really cool.
Just you can find me on Facebook. Just message me there.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I don't know if I absolutely can or not, but I figured I'd like to ask you.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
For sure. We'll get you on the messenger group that we have for information about that.
Yeah, I created a for everybody that's planning on going, I have a message group for us.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Bluff Creek. Yes. Would I say Willow Creek?
I mean, technically, it'd be Willow Creek. Bluff Creek's just the creek.
Well,
but everyone's like, you going up to Bluff Creek, like as it's like a town or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess to Bigfooters, it is like a little city or a private. What do you call it? Dystopian, urban dystopian.
It's
you guys
just for us.
A fantastic job.
Just for us. Footers. That's it. But hey, guys, thanks for coming on and chit-chatting for a little bit. We've taken up our time. We've come right down to the end of the show. And another year in the books for Bigfoot. And on comes 2026 and new things to come. I am sure for Tate and Jonathan, they will be out there in the woods as usual. And we are sure to see some good things coming from both of them this coming year. We look forward to it. But as in a closing statement, I'd just like to say that As we move into 2026, one thing's clear. Bigfoot didn't change this year, but we did. The way we question, the way we debate, and the way we treat each other within this community matters just as much as any footprint or photograph. If 2025 taught us anything, it's that certainty without scrutiny leads nowhere. And curiosity without integrity is not research. So, Sasquatch Secrets will continue to ask hard questions, challenge narratives, and encourage thoughtful discussion, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. So, thank you to everyone who watched and debated, disagreed, and kept showing up. Here's to another year of curiosity, accountability, and the search for the truth. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to 2026. See you, gentlemen, later. Thank you for coming.
Later.
Later.
You guys in the next chat.